Morgan Trailhead here in Cleveland National Forest in the Elsinore Mountains, part of the San Mateo mountain range. So we're just above Lake Elsinore, a short distance. So Morgan Trailhead there is a major staging area for a lot of connecting hikes here in the San Mateo Mountains. You can take it up that way towards San Mateo Peak, which is also known as the Elsinore Mountains High Point. You can connect with the Bear Canyon Trail. You can do some really long hikes into the San Mateo Canyon Wilderness. I was thinking about maybe going up to San Mateo Peak, but I'm going to do a little warm-up hike over on this side here. So I'm going to go up this way, see where this little track leads, just to kind of get a little bit of a little warm-up in before I start hitting up the Morgan Trail. The Morgan Trail, you can, if you're really in the mood for an extremely long hike, you could potentially link up all the way to Sit and Peak. If you want to do a really long, drawn-out hike. And I know that hike will probably be much longer than the Bear Canyon Trailhead over by the candy store. If you want to do the really long version of Sit and Peak, you can connect with the Bear Canyon Trail and then head to Four Corners and take the Sit and Peak Trail. That's one way if you want to really add some mileage in. Most people just do it from the candy store. So it looks like we have a little old roadbed here. Trying to see where this will lead. Kind of forks off here to the left. Just gonna maybe go up to this little promontory here and see what the scene's like. It's been a few weeks since I've been hiking. 29th, I did Josephine Peak. So it's been quite a long stretch. Actually, this month has been extremely hot. Very hot for this time of year. We had temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s for several days last week. Then it finally broke around Monday, back in the mid 70s, and Tuesday and Wednesday in the low to mid 60s. Even got a thunderstorm. I actually posted a short video on that little thunderstorm we had. If you're interested in checking that out. Already got some nice views opening up. That's actually looking out towards the Sit and Peak area over there. So if you wanted to use the Morgan Trail to do that, you're looking at a really long hike. I don't know the exact mileage, but the Bear Canyon Trailhead on Ortega Highway across from the candy store is also a potential staging area to get to San Mateo Peak, which makes it maybe a little over 14 miles round trip. Would like to do that one day. See how cool that would be. Seen a lot of guys on YouTube do videos on both the Morgan Trailhead hike to San Mateo Peak, which I think is a little less than 5 miles, I think. round trip. I did that back in 2017. But I didn't do it from the Morgan Trailhead. I did it a little further down. Actually, I think I did it somewhere down there, and found a use trail that linked me to the San Mateo Peak Trail. That trail kind of goes along, does some ups and downs, and hits up near the peak, which is near that area. So I'm on this little promontory here. Looks like you could follow a nice little fire break. Well, you can see Ortega Highway snaking its way down. There's a peak over there I did back in 2019, peak 3106. There's a little white flag at the top of that one. I parked somewhere down there, followed a very good use trail, went over that false summit and up there. That was actually a fun little hike too. Not a very long one, it's a pretty short one. It's only a few hundred feet of climbing. It's steep in spots, but it's a really fun little hike. So one thing about this area, there are lots of dirt tracks and use trails. You can actually connect some pretty neat little hill hikes if you're so inclined. So down there, that's the Morgan Trailhead right there. So that's where I'm going to be returning to momentarily. And I'm going to pick up the Morgan Trail and then follow that until I see a little sign that points to San Mateo Peak, and then I'm going to take that trail. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe go down the backside of this, connect with the dirt road, and wind my way down. It's a very nice view from this little promontory. Kind of figured it would be. Because it's a nice little pointy hill right in the middle of these beautiful Santa Ana Mountains. Or actually, this is more, I mean, it's technically part of the Santa Ana Mountains, but it's a little miniature mountain range connected to them called the Elsinore Mountains. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and follow this little use trail back down, and I'm going to take the dirt road back down to, this is South Main Divide Road. It's looking towards Elsinore Peak. So San Mateo Peak is the highest point in the San Mateo Canyon Wilderness, and also the highest point in the Elsinore Mountains, with Elsinore Peak being a very, very close second. They're only about 16 feet apart. Elsinore Peak is 3575, and San Mateo Peak is 3591. So it's already starting to get kind of warm out here. I'm already starting to sweat. It's supposed to be kind of warm today too. Down where I live, it's supposed to be like 76, 77 today, so we're still dealing with some unseasonably warm temperatures, and that's supposed to change tomorrow. And then we're supposed to go below normal for about 5 days before another hot spell kicks in to end the month of February and start the month of March. It's looking like we're going to have some more summer-like weather. Temperatures up into the 80s at least. Again, this has been a very hot February this year. It's only been seasonally cool for maybe 5 or 6 days out of the 19 days, today being the 19th. So out of the previous 18 days, we've only had seasonal weather for about 5 or 6 days this whole month, and it's unbelievably dry. This is supposed to be the wettest time of year for us. Well, I'm just going to keep following this down. I'm going to rejoin the double track that leads over there to the trailhead, and then I am going to start on the Morgan Trail. See you over there soon. Hello, this is Brian again. Welcome to clip number 2. I'm actually at the trailhead now. So this is the Morgan Trailhead. This road's getting ripped up by these tree roots. Oh well, it's nature. So, we got the trail. Always pass by this trailhead and always notice these beautiful little pines here. Most of them are not native, actually. That's Pinus halepensis, Aleppo pine. Got a few Aleppo pines here. This is actually its close relative, Pinus pinea. It's not like stone pine, just in the same group. Young Aleppo, however, that guy, that is a native. That's coulter pine, Pinus coulteri. So, we got some trails. I'm going to go start following this trail here. Looks like there's something that goes off that way too. Pretty interesting. So I'm going to go follow this one. And start my Morgan Trail hike. I know there were quite a few videos about this trail, but I hope to add my own special touch. Of course, you know I'm going to be talking about the plants along the way, so hopefully that'll add a dimension of interest to this as we start plunging into the chaparral. I believe the first stretch of this is going to be a downhill down into the canyon. I want to say Lion Canyon. I think it's going to be Lion Canyon, I believe. And eventually we're going to hit the San Mateo Peak Trail, and we're going to start breaking away from the canyon and going to start eventually climbing uphill. We're a nice, very mature stand of chaparral here. So that's definitely going to add some interest to this hike and a little bit of early morning shade. One thing I remember about taking this trail, I did this hike on March 19th, 2017 when I hiked, and these guys were in full bloom. Well, actually a little past their peak actually, but they still had a lot of flowers on them. This is Ceanothus crassifolius, variety crassifolius, hoary leaf ceanothus, and these will create quite a spectacle. They're starting to bloom now. Actually, they're really starting to put in their flowers. Did spotlight on this shrub back last February or March, so take a look out for that video if you're interested in learning more about Ceanothus crassifolius. And we got Arctostaphylos glauca. We got big berry manzanita, which you will find periodically here in the Elsinore Mountains and also in the Santa Ana Mountains. But they seem to be, in my experience, more prevalent here in the Elsinore Mountain side. And you'll find some nice specimens as you go down towards Wildemar Campground. There's some nice specimens. Where I did a spotlight on that one was in the very edge of Wildemar Campground. That was a really nice specimen of Arctostaphylos glauca. And of course, common chamise, Adenostoma fasciculatum, variety fasciculatum, holly leaf redberry, Rhamnus ilicifolia, a very nice tall specimen. And of course, there's quite a bit of sugar sumac or sugar bush, Rhus ovata. We're at an elevation of about 2,800 feet here. And like I said, we're going to lose elevation a little bit. I'm not supposed to lose a whole lot. I've never actually hiked, like I said, I never did San Mateo Peak from the Morgan Trailhead itself. I did it from a little ways back, actually. Little ways up, well, actually a little ways that way. Kind of short distance. Maybe about 2 or 3 football fields down the way. And I found an old fire break that led down into the shade of some oaks, and then eventually found my way by poking around a little bit to get to the junction, and eventually found my way to the San Mateo Peak Trail. So yes, we're heading down canyon right now. Eventually we're going to make our way towards that oak woodland, so that should be pretty nice. This is it's not really hot or anything. It's just a little bit warmer than it should be this time of year. So, in most of this hike, there's going to be a shady part of this hike down in the canyon, but then eventually we're going to break out into chaparral, and it's going to be sun exposed pretty much the rest of the way up to the peak. I remember it's very, very sun exposed, and there are a few sharp ups and downs once you start making your way up towards the higher portions of the hike. I'd rate this hike as moderate. Nothing more than moderate, but there are a few tricky, sketchier spots up towards the ridge. Getting closer to the peak, so you'll have to watch your footing in some spots. But let's see. And also, since we're heading down into a mesic area, which is kind of a term for a moister, more water retentive location, poison oak, I don't remember having too much issue with it, but it might be found, or probably more likely will be found, especially once we get down to the canyon. So be prudent to keep your eyes on that. This time of year, I don't know, it might be leafing out already. A lot of our deciduous trees and shrubs are already leafing out because of the really hot weather. Well, I thought this was poison oak, but this is skunk bush, or skunk brush, Rus aromatica, which is a remarkable look-alike. It looks kind of similar even when it's leafless and dormant, like it is right now. So now, here we are, heading down into one of the wooded spots that will make this part of the hike quite enchanting. Though I think the fragrant chaparral, blue curls and black sage mixing in with all the chaparral plants, it gets very fragrant on the sun-exposed ridge hike. But now we're heading down into this little enchanted woodland here. Really nice. Yeah, I don't remember. I had not been on the Morgan Trail at this point yet, so this is all new to me. And there's something sad right here. Imagine how humongous that coast live oak used to be. That would have been probably one of the largest coast live oaks I had ever seen in these mountains. Usually here in these mountains are usually pretty moderate sized, but that, imagine how freaking huge that tree was. Oh, that's so sad. That thing was a monster. That thing would be rivaling some of the huge canyon live oaks I saw at Palomar Mountain. And those trees get huge. That was a huge coast live oak. It's really sad to see it gone. That was a humongous coast live oak. Pretty sad. A lot of skunk bush along here too. And we got the willows. They're already starting to get their flower buds. So this area is in and out of the shade of coast live oaks. So enjoy this part while you have it. Once we start getting up from the canyon, it's going to be quite a toasty experience. Well, I'll see you at the junction with the San Mateo Peak Trail. This is gorgeous over here. I love these little live oak woodlands here in the middle of the chaparral. It just adds another level of beauty to what's already an awesome area. All right, I'll see you on the next clip. Hello, this is Brian again. I haven't quite reached the junction for the trail, but just down in this canyon is unbelievably beautiful. So I do need to spend some time showing you guys how incredibly gorgeous this canyon is. I do really believe this is Lion Canyon. Pretty sure this is. Down here, these coast live oak trees are just insanely beautiful, and it's making the hiking quite comfortable despite the relatively warm temperatures. And we got some pretty decent sized ones here. There's a pretty decent sized coast live oak right here. I know I saw there was an old snag back that way. I think I got video of it. Actually, I think I might have seen this picture of this oak in a book before. I think I might have. This kind of looks like a picture in Patrick Mitchell's Santa Ana Mountains book. I forget the full title of it. It's about the Santa Ana Mountains. I think this might be a tree he took a picture of. It's featured in the book. I think this is the tree he took a picture of. It's a beautiful tree right here. Incredible. So I remember seeing a big boulder behind it too. So this tree might be the picture in that book about the Santa Ana Mountains by Patrick Mitchell. That book covers the history, a little bit about the plants and animals, and some hiking tips, some history and culture. I think this might be the tree from that angle back there. This is a nice one too. This is just an absolutely stunning place. Absolutely incredible here. I've been in this oak woodland for quite a while now. And we've got white flowered currant right here, Ribes indicorum. Seeing a few patches of that along here. It's one of those winter flowering currants. Like, typically currants and gooseberries, which are closely related, typically are usually winter deciduous. They shed their leaves in fall and then leafless in winter. But a lot of ours actually shed their leaves in the dryness of summer and leaf out during the first rains of fall and early winter. Just look at this. Absolutely stunning over here. Whether you're going to San Mateo Peak or any other place, just being here is totally awesome. And we've got a California sycamore tree here too. Right here, that mottled bark. I haven't really seen much of that. I think this is the only tree I've seen thus far. Sorry to pour up towards the sun, but still, right now it's still deciduous, still dormant for winter. But a lot of the ones lower down are already well into their leafing out. Usually in the lowest elevations, California sycamores are one of the first trees to leaf out. Usually in early February. I've even seen them leaf out as late as late January. But this is the scenery here is absolutely insanely beautiful. And there's a little creek. There's a little bit of water in there. If we had more of our typical February rains, probably be more water down there, but it's nice to see a little water in the gully. This is just an insanely beautiful place to be. If you like hiking in the wilderness, we're entered the San Mateo Canyon Wilderness. There was a sign probably about 50, 100 yards behind us. Just look at those boulders. This is a rugged canyonscape down here. There's not much water down there. I was gonna say maybe a little bit down there. But yeah, I'm still hiking along the Morgan Trail. I haven't found the access point to hit San Mateo Peak yet. You'll see a sign that says San Mateo Peak with the sign is in the shape of an arrow pointing where to go. And I got more sycamores down here too. Like I said, I started my hike the first time I did San Mateo Peak. Started it from a different area along South Main Divide. So this portion of this is not really super familiar to me right now. But I'll tell you one thing. It is absolutely stunning over here. Gosh, man. Now we might be getting out into the chaparral pretty soon. But I know where the sign for the trail is. Where that is kind of in the shade too. I remember it's kind of in the shade of woodland too. But so far, most of this trail has been quite shady up until this point. I say once we start breaking away from the canyon and start climbing up the ridge, it's going to become very exposed and very warm very quickly. So be prepared. Be prepared for some. God, so beautiful. Be prepared for some sun exposure. Pretty much the rest of the way. And so once we start breaking away from the canyon, you're in chaparral the rest of the way, and it's going to be quite a toasty hike. Oh, Kekiella. Got some Kekiella antirrhinoides, variety antirrhinoides. Just a little trickle of water down there. Really not much going on with the dry, extremely dry January and February we've had. Some of that could be left over from December. Well, I'll meet you at the, hopefully this time, I'll be at the trail junction in the next clip. So, hope to see you there soon. Hello, this is Brian again. Well, I haven't found the San Mateo Peak Junction sign. Beginning to wonder if I missed it. Actually, I don't even think I can see it from here. That's all the way over towards Boy Scout Peak and Sitting Peak over there. On this large rock right here. Beautiful country out here, but I really don't feel like I think I might have gone too far on the Morgan Trail. I'm still on it. This is kind of a little weird. And I've been going predominantly downhill. This trail keeps going downhill instead of uphill. Ever since I left that oak woodland, I mean, I haven't seen any signs unless somebody took the sign down and I missed it. I don't know. It's a little disconcerting. You know, I'm not like lost in the sense of I'm not going to be able to find my way back to the car. I just follow this trail all the way back. It's just, am I way off course for trying to get to San Mateo Peak? I don't remember being on the Morgan Trail for a very long time. I remember there was a nice little woodland, and then boom, there's your little sign that says San Mateo Peak at this little trail junction. There's actually an old basketball. There's a basketball on the ground when I went there, like an old basketball, and I saw hiking guy's video, and when I was there it was deflated, but when he did the video of San Mateo Peak from the Morgan Trailhead, it was reinflated and was on top of a post. So I might be way off course. I'm actually heading down near where there's some private property down there. There's a little farm or ranch or something down there. So I think I more than missed it. I think I might have overshot it by a huge amount, because I think where I started the hike down the road from the Morgan Trailhead, that was, I think, a little bit further of a distance hike than if I had started at the Morgan Trailhead. So I kind of had to skirt around a use trail that led towards the Morgan Trail and the Junction Trail to the peak. So this is a little bit more of an adventure than I expected. Yeah. I think the peak is up there somewhere, actually. Oh, wow, I way overshot it. I should be going up that way. Wow. I don't want to keep going down too much further. I'm gonna have a lot of elevation to climb to get back to the Morgan Trail. I don't know what the heck happened. I'm usually good about finding my way around, but yeah, I think San Mateo Peak is up there. I shouldn't be looking at it from this direction. I should be looking at it from the east, relatively kind of from the east-ish. I'm kind of looking east towards it instead of looking west towards it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round the corner. So I know this is going to lead down to where there's some ranch property, it looks like. Morning. Oh, go ahead. Okay. I think I missed the San Mateo Peak Trail.
No, there's a sign further down.
Oh, further down?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I missed it. Thanks. Appreciate it. Well, that's certainly encouraging. Guess I hadn't gone far enough. That definitely makes me feel good. I mean, it's not like it's super hard to find. It's well signed. There's a post, an arrow-shaped sign saying San Mateo Peak, pointing off to where you go. So, ooh, look at that. Manroot, or wild spiny cucumber, Mara macrocarpus. It's blooming now. I think it's springtime. I can smell the slight aroma of ceanothus too. Some of them are supposed to be very perfumey. This one has more of like a rose blossom. I mean, not a rose, a pear blossom. Now, some people, like pear blossom, kind of has a a mild scent. Nothing really. Like pear blossoms kind of have a very mild scent. Kind of reminds me of the smell of a pear blossom. Very slight aroma. Nothing insane. All right. Very interesting. Because I remember when I hiked San Mateo Peak, I hiked it from a different direction. This might be just this might be a backdoor approach. I don't know. When I was on the Morgan Trail, I do not remember going through the chaparral like this before climbing up. I'm still going downhill right now. I have to bust out of water. This might actually be a longer way to get up there. Much longer than I anticipated. I'll tell you one thing though. The lack of familiarity Sure makes for a nice adventure. I'm not gonna lie, this is incredibly beautiful over here. I'm really close. I could see civilization over there. A little ranch community or whatever it is down there. I'm actually really close to it. I bet you probably an offshoot of this trail probably leads you to it. But, you know, people who might potentially live over there have some pretty good backcountry access to some of these spots, you know. Well, I'm gonna keep going and hopefully I'll find that sign soon. See you on the next clip. Hello, this is Brian again. All the way down at this trail junction here. This is the trail to Turnoff Falls. So I must be way off. See, I already come almost 2.5 miles over here. I should be up there. I don't know what the heck happened over here. Well, I might not be making it up there, to be honest with you. So once I get back to South Main Divide, probably going to be bushed. There's going to be a little bit of climbing. So I'm still on the Morgan Trail. It's like 2 point something to get to the Bear Canyon Trail from here. Believe it or not. I just don't see any way from here for me to get to San Mateo Peak. I don't know. I'm sorry. If I missed the turnoff, I'm really surprised that I missed it because I'm usually pretty observant. I'm going to follow this a little bit more. Not much longer. I'm going to turn around and start heading back. So the title of this episode might be Morgan Trail Hike. I wasn't planning on going way out there all the way to the Bear Canyon Trail. I was trying to get up to San Mateo Peak. And I'm behind it now. I don't think there's a connector. I don't know if there's a connector to get to the trail, because the trail goes beyond the peak. When you get to the peak, San Mateo Peak, the use trail is supposed to continue down the other side of the peak. It's supposed to pass through a small meadow and I think lead you out near private property. I was going to try to go to the peak and then go to that little meadow high up on the ridge, but I just don't see, honestly, I don't see that happening right now. Honestly. Yeah, I should not be looking at San Mateo Peak from the west. Pretty much east and northeast of it until I get to it, I believe, if I remember correctly. East and northeast of it. And I'm a little ways west of it right now. I must have missed a sign noting where the peak is, or the direction to the peak. Sure, it's beautiful out here, though. I wonder if I should just go to those see if this trail goes towards the woodland. I don't even see a trail on this side either. Well, I see something over there. I don't know if I want to go that far. I think I'm going to turn around here. Probably be a good idea before I end up making this like a 20-mile hike or 15-mile hike or whatever. I'm just going to follow this a little bit longer. I do see a dirt road over there. As I said, I only packed enough water for maybe just a little bit more than enough water, for the 4 or 5 mile out and back. Not for a like 10, 15 mile hike. If I were doing that, I would have brought probably 2 to 3 times the amount of water, especially for a day like today where it's not hot, it's just warm outside right now. Feels like it's in the 70s, maybe low 70s at most, but it feels a lot warmer when you're hiking, especially in sun-soaked chaparral like this. Just curious where this is going to lead. Hoping maybe I could do a backdoor climb, and hopefully on the way back I'll be able to go down the normal way. Beautiful hike though. It's really nice, and get some good views of the mountains around us. Morgan Trail is very pretty. Just kind of surprised that I missed that, because the sign was in a shady woodland area full of grass and bushes and trees. There's another sign up ahead. I wonder what that is. Oh, I'm starting to see lizards. It's the first lizard of the day. Okay, here's a sign for Morgan Trail again. Yeah, it's just a sign for the Morgan Trail. I was expecting it to be a little better. I was expecting to have a little better time navigating my way around. I mean, I've done the hike to San Mateo Peak, so I don't know why today it's just becoming an issue. Oh, I think that's the ranching community down there. I think it's down there now. Very interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna turn around. Yeah, it's probably best that I turn around. Well, I'm gonna go back and see if I can find that trail junction. If not, then this will be just a Morgan Trail hike. So I'll see you on the next clip. Oh, this is Brian again. That was a granite spiny lizard. Probably got a quick clip of it. So I'm on my way back right now. Yep. I had a feeling this was going to be a granite spiny lizard habitat right here. These really complicated rock outcroppings here. And you certainly just saw there's another one right near that tip of that rock there, right by the crack. There's another granite spiny lizard. So it seems like good granite spiny lizard breeding habitat. So if you see a bunch of jumbled rocks like this, this is where you most likely find granite spiny lizards if you're within their range here in Southern California. I had one at the beginning of the shot. You can see right there. There's a juvenile. There's a juvenile granite spiny lizard right there. A juvenile. Right on top of this rock doing head push-up displays. And we got this one doing the same thing too. So that's a looks like a middle-aged adult granite spiny lizard. So this seems to be another granite spiny lizard habitat. I saw some before. I was recording a spotlight on the wild cucumber plant that grows here. the man root, or macrocarpus. The whole time I was recording them, there was a rock outcropping about 20 feet away, and I saw a couple of them, a couple granite spiny lizards over there as well. I was like, ah. So if you get rock outcrops and piles like this with lots of cracks and places to dip underneath, you're in prime granite spiny lizard habitat. Especially if you're here in Riverside County. That's where I always seem to find granite spiny lizards here. We're in far western Riverside County, not that far away from the Orange County border. But if you're looking for granite spiny lizards, you'll definitely find them out this way. So yes, I'm hiking my way back. I'm deciding if I do find the junction up the trail. I'm probably not going to bother going for it because it's a lot of uphill on the way back from where I turned around. So I think that's going to change the title of this set to Morgan Trail Hike, I guess. I got about 2.5 miles down. Didn't see any junction to San Mateo Peak, so after all this climbing I'm going to have to do to get back to the trailhead, probably not going to want to do a bunch more, so this will be a Morgan Trail hike today. And just a few minutes ago, I was down where we do a small creek crossing, and I heard a Baja tree frog, or Baja chorus frog, croaking a couple times. Didn't get to see the tree frog, but I think it was a little further up from where I was taking a break. That'd be nice to get footage of that. So this video will be called Morgan Trail Hike. I'm not going to put San Mateo Peak attempt or anything like that. So I really didn't even find the trail. But yeah, down there would be prime Pacific tree frog or Pacific chorus frog. Actually, our species should be considered Baja tree frogs. Our species here. You have Baja tree frog or Baja chorus frog, Pseudocris hypochondriaca, and then you have Pseudocris cadaverina, California tree frog. I think those are the two species of Pseudocris you'd be most likely to find here. It's a beautiful day. It's just getting kind of warm and sweaty on the climb back out. So, heading back for this beautiful woodland. Should be mostly shady pretty much the rest of the hike back. And I'll probably have a few more 100 feet of climbing, because my trail just kept going downhill and downhill and downhill and downhill. A couple short uphill pitches, but mostly downhill. Here's a really decent sized coast live oak right here. Surprisingly upright. Look at this. Beautiful coast live oak right here. Got a nice sized trunk. It's a single trunk tree too. And it doesn't lean or taper until higher up in the crown. That's a pretty nice size one too. It's a pretty tall one. That's one of the taller ones I've seen here. I'll tell you one thing, the fragrance here is really nice. Nice, humid, woodsy odor of sycamore. There's a sycamore tree over here too. I pointed out on one of my earlier clips. But I wonder if there are any tree frogs down there. maybe. That'd be cool. See some of those. I haven't seen those in years. Honestly, the last time I saw a Pacific tree frog was actually at my job in the middle of La Palma, California. I work in a grocery store. It's in northwest Orange County, and I think the tree frog came in on a shipment of something on a grocery delivery, and it was hopping around the back room. I tried to catch it, put it in a container, and I was going to take it, not take it home, but I was going to take it to a park with a water source and let it go there, but it got out of the container somehow. Wanted to see if I can try to transplant it to an area where it'll have some water, but yeah, somehow escaped, unfortunately. So I don't know whatever became of that frog. That was the last time. That was a few years ago, but I haven't seen one in the wild. Since 1994, I think. I think it was 94. Been a long time. I was 12 years old at the time. So we're back, just about back at the San Mateo Canyon Wilderness sign. That was a pretty sweaty climb in the chaparral. It's getting pretty warm out. Kind of expected it. Probably should have done this earlier. Most of the rest of my hike will be in shade. So, this is a really cool trail. I'm just glad to be in shade right now. Well, I'll probably update something down the way. Maybe I'll find some other animals to show. So I've seen a cottontail, but those things are almost impossible to get on camera, in my experience. Seen a cottontail, granite spiny lizards, a couple western fence lizards, side blotch lizards, a lot of the usual goodies, and of course birds. But I'm not really very fluent in ornithology, so really couldn't describe what type they were. Certain birds I know from seeing them, like ravens and crows and scrub jays and stellar jays, but stellar jays are supposedly not found here in the Santa Ana Mountains, despite some quite appropriate habitat. Well, I'll see you down the road. Maybe something else interesting will pop up to add to the awesomeness of this already beautiful area. Hello, this is Brian again. This will probably be my final update. Looks like I'm just about back at the trailhead. Yeah, I never saw a sign for San Mateo Peak. So I'm wondering if I had to get on a connector trail. There are a few connector trails that run kind of near the highway or the road. Because I remember the first time I had a little trouble at first, but I ended up finding a connector trail down from where I parked, a little bit down that way, instead of at the trailhead. So, just wondering if I should have gotten on a connector trail. That's what I'm thinking. Never saw a sign for San Mateo Peak. Probably missed one of the connector trails. There's one about a fifth of a mile down.
see what time it is when we get there. We might be able to get to the road and see where it's at.
Sounds like they're coming up with some plans too for what they want to do today. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess I have to take one of the connector trails. There are connector trails to the south as well. Well, yeah, didn't see any signs for San Mateo Peak anywhere around here. So, I'd say, all in all, I'd say probably did about a five mile hike, maybe a little bit extra mileage for one of the connector trails I started going to on the way back. When I was not that far, I got on a connector trail instead. Not gonna lie, that sun will drain you. So this will probably wrap it up for me here, Morgan Trail. So this video said it'll be called Morgan Trail hike. Nice, I made it up to that little knoll over there. Well, thanks for watching my series. Sorry I didn't make it to the peak, but it is what it is. And at least I got out and got some adventure today, so that's still a win in my book. Hope you enjoyed my hike along the beautiful Morgan Trail here in Cleveland National Forest, Santa Ana/Elsinore Mountains, Western Riverside County, California. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.